Back here at the National Firearms Museum, located in NRA headquarters in Fairfax, Virginia, with Phil Schreier. He's the senior curator of the National Firearms Museum, and we're back for another installment of the Curator's Corner. And I think we should subtitle this one, Phil, Phil's Favorites Part 2. We got to see last week your favorite handgun. Now tell us about this. I hear this is your favorite long gun?
This is, John. Thanks again for having us on the show. This is indeed my favorite long arm in the collection of nearly 5,000 guns that we have. This is my favorite. Actually, it's a Fowler, which means shotgun for shooting birds, hence the name. It was made by Joseph Manton in London, England, about late 1790s, early 1800s. And it's a very exquisite Fowler. It has a quiet dignity about it. It's not covered in engraving like you would see on some modern Purdy's or Holland & Hollands. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this has a quiet, understated dignity about it. The lock plate is very plain, but yet the frizzen pan is lined in 18-karat gold. The touch hole as well is lined in gold, or faced in gold. There's a simple little gold band inlaid here at the breech, and right here is the maker's mark of the Manton and Company seal right there at the breech.
Which even with my new glasses, I have trouble reading that. Someone made that by hand.
Oh yeah, it was made
nothing
by
was
hand,
machine made.
Nothing. Even this checkering was all hand done. A couple hundred lines, you know, at least 50 lines per inch on the hand checkering, and it lines up perfectly, all hand done.
It is very, very understated, but very elegant, and it's a beautiful firearm.
It's light, and here's one of the features of it that I appreciate and enjoy the best. This is an octangular barrel, meaning it has 8 sides down here. Then it gracefully goes to 16 sides here. And then what we call a double wedding band with a little flourish in there, as you can see, and then just perfectly round. And it's capped off with an ebony nose piece here, a wooden ramrod, which is tipped in bone. It has a little bone tip there. It's a half stock with what we call 2 keys, these being the keys that hold it to the thing. It doesn't even weigh 5 pounds.
Wow.
It's an extremely light, very fast and quick gun to shoulder. And one of the neat things about it is if you were to look at the Manton letterhead of the time period, you would see what we call royal warrants aligned underneath it, meaning purveyor of goods to the House of Windsor, back then the House of Hanover.
Yes.
And this gun was made for King George III's second eldest son, Frederick Augustus, the Duke of York.
Wow.
And it was Frederick Augustus that took the armies into Belgium in 1915, and he commanded the Duke of Wellington in his campaign against Napoleon at Waterloo.
Wow. So we discussed earlier provenance on that. How do you establish we talked before of the firearm last week where a relative walked into the old NRA headquarters downtown with the handgun, but how do you do this with something like this?
Well, in the case of this gun, again, provenance is key. When the Duke of York passed away in the late 1820s, I think 1820s, 1830s, his personal effects, believe it or not, instead of being distributed to the rest of the royal family, and this now being locked away in Windsor Castle someplace at a site, were sold at auction by the venerable auction house of Christie's. And so we were actually able to go back and look at a Christie's catalog from the 1820s and find a line item lot number on the Duke of York's 20-gauge Manton Fowler.
And going through a reputable auction house, that establishes for you that it is what it is.
We would like to hope so.
It's beautiful, and it's amazing to look at it. I've not held it. I would think it's much heavier than it is.
Oh no, it's very light, swings very quick. I've been able to break 20 out of 25 clays with, no, just kidding. We really venerate these old pieces in the collection. It's amazing to me that something can survive from generation to generation and still look like it did the day it was made. I know in my personal effects, I have trouble keeping things looking good over a period of 12 months, but in these to go century at least and still maintain its beauty is just remarkable. And that's one of the things we like to pride ourselves in here is being able to maintain constant condition standards and care and conservation for these wonderful pieces of heritage and heirlooms.
Which is a good point. We're here in the Roosevelt Room of the National Firearms Museum, and you can't hear it on our mics, but you can hear going behind it. There's display cabinets, and the air is humidified, conditioned. Always, everything is like perfectly maintained inside these exhibits to keep these beautiful centuries-old firearms in good shape.
That's right, John. We maintain a constant, steady state of environmental controls. So there's no, it's cold in the summer and hot in the winter. It's the same all the time. Consistency is key. That way wood doesn't swell or shrink, metal doesn't rust or dry out.
Beautiful. Another treasure here. Now, what is something approximately you think that will be worth?
Well, Frederick Augustus isn't quite the name that his brother, the Prince of Wales, became, or his father, but it is a Manton, which on its own right is quite a brand name in this period. I would have to say probably in mid six figures. This is going to definitely bring over 100,000 if it was ever auctioned. It is absolutely exquisite, but still being understated without being gaudy.
It has an elegance to it, which you'd expect to see at a royal house like that. And it's another treasure here at the National Firearms Museum. And to see these treasures, well, the best way, as we've discussed, and we will again, is to get here to Fairfax, Virginia. But you tell us how you can get more information, if you would.
John, you can find us here open 7 days a week and free admission in Fairfax, right off of Route 50 in the intersection of US 66. We're open 9:30 to 5 every day of the week, with the exception of Saturdays. We're open late till 7. And you can find us on the web at www.nationalfirearmsmuseum.org.
Which there you can take somewhat of a virtual tour, but the best tour is right in here. It's
See just, for yourself.
Yeah, you really, to appreciate the woods, the metals, and everything, you really got to be here to see them in person. So, Phil, thank you once again for really bringing a beautiful treasure here to our NRA News audience here at the Curator's Corner.
Thank you, John.